What's happening, guys? It's Teddy. Today I'd like to talk to you about what supporting modifications you need to do to your engine if you are thinking about supercharging your Mustang GT or you have supercharged your Mustang GT. If you haven't supercharged your Mustang GT just yet, doing the oil pump gear and the crank gear is a perfect time to do it when installing the supercharger. This just makes it a little bit easier because we're going to be taking some parts off that we need to take off anyway when installing the supercharger. Why do I need to replace them? Well, first of all, the stock ones are quite brittle when you start pushing the limits of your engine. Now, if you go over, let's say, 750 horsepower as a guideline, then anything more than that, you should really want to be replacing it because it's going to be too much stress for the pump or the crank gear, and either or could shatter. What do I replace them with? Obviously, a billet component is going to be much better because billet is CNC machined out of a single piece of metal, being the strongest form of metal you can get. So this is a billet oil pump gear and a billet crank gear. These are both by MMR, but there are a couple of reputable companies out there. We favour Boundary Gears and MMR as our preferred brand because they're a known brand and they're trusted, they build race engines, so either or, you're going to be good. And last but not least, why are you charging me 8 hours to install this part? Well, first of all, it's very hid away under that front cover. If you come with me, I'll show you what it takes to put one in. So as I mentioned earlier, I want to just show you what actually goes into getting the oil pump and the crank gear installed. Now if you take a look this way, you can see that there's not too much left of the engine. We've literally got a bare block with some heads. So first things first, all this area needs to be stripped. So you've got your radiator, you've got your fans, you've got the crank pulley, you've got all the bits on the front cover that need to come off, you've got the rocker covers, the sump has to be dropped in order to get access to the oil pump gear. There's a lot that goes into it, and quite obviously the timing chains need to come off, so that means the engine has to be timed up every time you do it. So there's quite a lot of precision work going into it, there's a lot of effort going into it, and just trying to stay tidy and all sorts all adds to the time of doing the job. Now we charge 8 hours if you do it with a supercharger because we are already sort of in here, as I said earlier, like the inlet manifold has to come off anyway for the supercharger, all the bracing and stuff, so that's all got to come off. Now if you do it without a supercharger, we only charge 10 hours just for the extra couple of hours of putting stuff back on that wouldn't otherwise have gone back on. So the oil pump gear, driven by the crank, the flat sides here and the flat sides there, this literally just slots straight on here, just like that. And finally the crank gear goes on the crankshaft just in front of the oil pump. Thank you for watching, guys. If you'd like to know more about these components or having them installed on your car, please don't hesitate to get in touch. We'll be more than happy to accommodate for every one of your needs. Thanks again, guys.